Now, now we'll move to the treatment in case of sale or disposal of capital goods. कोई भी goods sale या फिर dispose of कर दिया. So amount payable in case of sale or disposal of capital goods is tax on transaction value, tax on the transaction value, or ITC taken at the time of purchase minus 5% per quarter or part of quarter, whichever is higher वो अपना आ जाता है. So treatment in case of sale or disposal of capital goods. It is amount payable in case of sale or disposal of capital goods is tax on transaction value, जो भी tax है transaction value पर, or ITC taken at the time of purchase minus 5% per quarter or part of the quarter, whichever is higher. Now, in case of sale of molds, dies, jigs, fixtures as scrap, amount payable will be tax on the transaction value. So amount क्या होती है will be tax payable will be the tax on the transaction value. Now, rule 41. Transfer of ITC on account of change in the constitution. Change in the constitution. Change in constitution आ जाता है तब अपना क्या हो जाता है आईटीसी. तो ट्रांसफर ऑफ आईटीसी ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ चेंज इन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जब भी चेंज होता है तो ट्रांसफर कैसे करना होता है. तो सेल, मर्जर, डीमर्जर, अमालगमेशन, ट्रांसफर ऑफ या फिर चेंज इन ओनरशिप ऑफ बिजनेस एक्सेट्रा, तो उसको अपन का ये लग जाता है. नाउ in such case, the balance in e-credit ledger can be transferred to a new entity by filing form ITC 02. ITC 02 भर दो. In case of demerger, अगर demerger हुआ तो ITC will be transferred to each of the demerged entities in the ratio of value of the assets transferred irrespective of whether ITC availed or not on the such assets. तो जब भी demerge होती है, जब भी demerge होता है, so in case of a demerger, ITC will be transferred to each of the demerged entities in the ratio of value of assets transferred irrespective of whether ITC availed or not on such assets. Calculation need to be carried out state-wise and no separate calculation for IGST, CGST, SGST, UTGST required. तो ये अपन को हर एक स्टेट वाइज करना होता है और इसमें कोई सेपरेट नहीं हो कैलकुलेशन होता IGST, CGST, SGST, UTGST का. Now, transfer of ITC is permitted only if business is transferred along with the liabilities. तो सिर्फ assets ट्रांसफर करके रख दिया ऐसा नहीं भाई, liability भी ट्रांसफर करो तो ही मिलेगा ITC का अपना. फिर value of asset to be taken as on appointment date. Now, a company XYZ is registered in two states. MP में assets 60 crore, UP में assets 40 crore, 30 crore transfer to ABC, 10 crore transfer to ABC. Total assets 100 crore, 40 crore transfer to ABC private. Going to above, demerger, the proportion of ITC transfer to ABC shall be calculated state-wise. That is MP में 30 divided by 60 or 10 divided by 40, that is 50% ITC transferred in MP and 25% ITC transferred in UP. Not calculated on all India basis, that is 40 divided by 100. ऐसा 40% ऐसा डायरेक्ट नहीं होगा, स्टेट वाइज जाके करो, स्टेट वाइज जाके अपन को ट्रांसफर करना होता है. नाउ वी विल मूव टू द रूल 41A. ट्रांसफर ऑफ आईटीसी इन ऑब्टेनिंग सेपरेट रजिस्ट्रेशन for multiple places of business within a state or UT. IDC can be transferred to any or all or newly registered places in ratio of value of assets by filing form ITC 002A within a period of 30 days. तो इसमें भाई मल्टीपल लोकेशन पे अपन ने जगह खोल दी है, तो उसमें आईटीसी कहाँ से कैसे ट्रांसफर करना था, ITC 02A से कर लेना होता है. नाउ मैनर ऑफ यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ आईटीसी. मैनर ऑफ यूटिलाइजेशन तो कैसे कैसे यूज करो. तो पहले तो है यूटिलाइज द एंटायर अवेलेबल आईजीएसटी बैलेंस टू फर्स्ट सेट ऑफ अगेंस्ट आईजीएसटी. तो पहले आईजीएसटी को आईजीएसटी के सामने उतार दो, पहला काम वही है, एकदम सिंपल. देन रिमेनिंग आईजीएसटी, अगर कोई भी रिमेनिंग आईजीएसटी है, कैन बी सेट ऑफ अगेंस्ट सीजीएसटी, एसजीएसटी, यूटीजीएसटी इन एनी ऑर्डर इन एनी प्रोपोर्शन. टैक्स पेयर हैज टू एग्जॉस्ट एंटायर आईजीएसटी क्रेडिट बैलेंस फर्स्ट. तो पहले भाई खत्म करो आईजीएसटी, फिर आगे बढ़ो ना. सेकंड है यूटिलाइज CGST balance against CGST output liability first. Next set off can be done against IGST. तो CGST का IGST के सामने, पहले तो CGST के सामने उड़ा दो, फिर IGST के सामने जाओ, फिर यूटिलाइज SGST बैलेंस अगेंस्ट, इस पर भी वही रूल लगेगा. Remember, SGST can be used to set off against IGST output liability only when IGST and CGST are exhausted, and CGST and SGST can never be used to set off each other. ये तो सिंपल है, ये तो अपन बचपन से करते आ रहे हैं. Now, Rule 86A, conditions for use of amount available in electronic credit ledger. Commissioner or officer more than or equal to assistant commissioner authorized by him is empowered to improve restrictions on utilization of ITC if reasons to believe that ITC fraudulently availed or is ineligible. First, when ITC availed on business on basis of documents issued by non-existent supplier or person not conducting business from registered place of business without the receipt of goods, services, or both, and tax not paid to the government. Restrictions can be imposed up to 1 year. 1 year. Officer can withdraw anytime if conditions no longer exist. Now, Second, a person availing ITC found non-existent or not conducting business from registered place of business तो उसका नहीं मिलेगा. And third is not in possession of valid invoice or tax document तो उस पे भी नहीं मिलेगा. Now restrictions on use of amount available in electronic credit ledger. It is rule 86B. अब rule 86B क्या बोलता है? So registered person shall not use ITC balance in e-credit ledger to discharge more than 99% of output tax liability. तो जो भी अपना आउटपुट टैक्स लायबिलिटी है उसमें 99% ही अपना आईटीसी से कर सकते हैं. 1% तो अपन को कैश से ही करना पड़ेगा. When value of taxable supply other than exempt and zero rated in a month exceeds rupees 50 lakh, तो 50 लाख से ज्यादा है. And restriction shall not apply when, तो ये restriction अप्लाई नहीं होगी. कब कब? तो फर्स्ट, a sale person proprietor करता है एमडी, any two partner or whole time director, members of managing director of associates or board of trustees have paid more than rupees 1 lakh income tax in each of the last two financial year for which time to file return has expired. फिर सेकंड है आरपी है तो 1 लाख के ऊपर का इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न भरा है. फिर आरपी हैज रिसीव्ड रिफंड ऑफ मोर देन रुपीज 1 लाख in preceding financial year relating to the unutilized ITC due to zero rate supply made without payment of tax or relating to the inverted duty structure. And third here, registered person has discharged his liability towards output tax through the electronic cash ledger for an amount which is excess of 1% of the total output tax liability applied cumulatively up to the said month in current financial year starting from April. And registered person is GST department, government department, PSU value, statutory body. Now, clarification relating to the molds dies sent free of cost by OEM to the component manufacturer. If original contract laid obligation of molds on contract manager, still if mold supplied by OEM free of cost, ITC on same need to be reversed by OEM. If contractual liability was of OEM, then no such reversal required. Now, clarification related to the time expired medicines or the extra time expired medicines या फिर drugs है, तो by treating them as fresh supply या फिर by issuing credit note, तो issue invoice या फिर bill of supply, recipient of return supply eligible to claim ITC subject to section 16. When such drugs are destroyed, ITC shall be reversed. Now, by issuing credit note, if within the time limit, issue credit note and reduce the output liability, recipient shall also reverse ITC. If time lapsed, अगर time left हो गया, so commercial credit note can still be issued, but no reduction in the output tax liability. And that was it, our part 4 of ITC.